Let's start with the Sun, should we? Because it's asylum seasiders.
Yeah, front page of the Sun this morning, and they've been to Bournemouth in Dorset, where it turns out there were...
Beautiful Bournemouth.
It's lovely, lovely part of the world. Great beaches, great coastline. There are some quite unhappy tourists at the moment because 3 of the hotels have been commandeered by the Home Office, including the Chine Hotel, the Roundhouse Hotel and the Britannia Hotel, and they're being used as what we would term these days as asylum hotels. And consequently, what you're finding, and the Sun has talked to various tourists in the area who are spending a couple of £100 a night to stay by the seaside and go to the beach, and they're saying, we just don't like this because just around the corner, 100 metres up the road, you've got people staying in these hotels. They're being paid for. In some cases, the Sun has revealed that they're working illegally, so they've done an undercover investigation. And to be blunt, people are quite hacked off with the fact. And, you know, this feeds into, if you look at the polling that's out at the moment, migration, illegal migration, is the top issue for people in this country at the moment. So you see stuff like this. We're in the holiday season, and we know in other parts of the country there have been tensions and frictions regarding asylum hotels and local residents who are not happy about that happening in their neighbourhood.
Well, I have to say, I was in Bournemouth in June, and we've been to Bournemouth for many, many years. We used to take our kids there when they were young, and I've seen Bournemouth kind of deteriorate quite a lot over the past few years for various reasons. I think seaside towns with migrant populations anyway, because when you've got transient populations, because you've got all those rooms, and then a lot of people do kind of move in and out of it. But I was shocked at the state of the place.
Really?
And the amount, the impact that this has had. I saw, the Roundhouse in particular was right by where we were staying, the amount of migrants. And it isn't just holidaymakers who are ticked off with this, I have to say.
No.
Oh, no,
Obviously, it is the residents of the place who see these people coming in, doing all those jobs. The bikes and the Deliveroo bikes all outside the hotels were there for all to see.
Really?
So you could tell that that's what they were doing, that all the bikes were going, but they would just be all kind of lying on the ground opposite. Bournemouth is also a university city, so there's a lot of students there, and there are a lot of very angry parents who are very worried about one of the hotels is right opposite the entrance to the campus, where a lot of young people are going in and out, and particularly, obviously, for the young women. There are all these groups of young men stood around, and, you know, it's just not good. We actually kind of found out as well, there was all stuff in the local papers, the incidence of sexual offences in the area has gone up 80%.
Yeah. Oh. You see, the challenge with this is, and in many cases, as you rightly point out, Susan, it is undocumented young men staying in these hotels, and they come from cultures where the rights of women are pretty low down the pecking order, you know, and it's...
Well, there aren't any.
Well, I'm trying to be polite. I won't be polite. There aren't any, you know. So when you put people who come from those cultures into our country where we do things in a different and, to be blunt, a better way, it's of concern to people, and rightly so. And also, this Sun report reveals, and just picking up on the illegal working, you know, the government said, oh, we're talking to various companies like Just Eat and Deliveroo to tighten up their procedures. Well, clearly, it's not working, because there are pictures here of people, you know, with those bicycles delivering food and stuff, who are staying at these...
I was saying to Chris Philp from the Tories yesterday, are ID cards now going to be a necessary evil? I know a lot of people don't like the idea, but I just wonder what impact it would have.
I saw that.
I'm willing to try anything, actually.
I saw that interview, but I just think would it really stop this happening? It might stop some illegal working.
Well, it would stop the illegal working.
It might do until they found a way of making ID cards that are faking it, because there's always a way. There's always somebody ahead of you with that.
And there's always going to be an employer who's prepared to take a bit of a punt and just go, I'll tell you what, cash in hand, I don't really care where you come from, you're cheap labour. So I'm not entirely sure that is the solution.
Yes, but if there was an ID card system in place, then you and an employer bypasses it, then you can really throw the book at them.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there because I just think, well, heck, what have we got to lose?
I'm not convinced, because I remember, I'm old enough as a man hurtling into middle age to remember under the Blair administration they were so desperate to introduce ID cards in this country, and it never happened. And it's the Tony Blair Institute who are very keen and are saying to this government, the ID cards, they're the answer, and it's almost like getting what Blair wants through the back door a couple of decades later.
Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private Internet Access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cybercriminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private Internet Access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GB News discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com/GB News to start protecting yourself digitally today.
Well, maybe.
Susan, let's take a look at the Telegraph, shall we? And middle-class children risk being shut out of the best schools.
Yes, so this is, at the moment, if you're trying to get your child into school, there are kind of, if you don't have children and haven't been through this. So for anyone who doesn't know, the way that they look at the application at the moment is through whether you are... you have special needs children, obviously top priority, whether you have siblings already in the school, and then distance to school. But what this is saying in the Telegraph is Keir Starmer plans to update the Equality Act to impose a socio-economic background kind of category in there. So they have to look for that and give those priority. So quite how, it doesn't explain how they would look at socio-economic, but hilariously they're saying it would give priority to more working class. Well, given that Keir Starmer doesn't quite know what the working class is and can't define the working class, please tell me what the working class is. He doesn't know. And now I think to say working class in Britain today, I think is just a really weird kind of phenomenon that doesn't kind of exist, because people work very hard in all levels of society, and I don't think working class means what it used to mean, and I don't think it should mean what it used to mean. I think everyone works very hard, and if you own your own company, you work harder than most people ever work. But does that mean that you're not as good as the working class? It's ridiculous. But they're looking into this, and what it means is the school would kind of get more points and kind of more credit, I think, for taking on those children. And for children who now are struggling, parents who want to put them into private school can't afford it and are looking for good schools, they're now thinking that this might mean that they're kind of pushed further down the pecking order.
It's divisive, though, isn't it?
It is.
This whole thing is divisive, and this term "middle class," and you're absolutely right, Susan. How do you define in the 21st century someone who is working class or middle class family? It's really difficult. But this idea that somehow middle-class families, their children might lose out. Everyone should have the same opportunity. So this kind of policy is just massively divisive.
It is, yeah. I mean, I disagree with you about the working class thing. But that aside, the point is children should have equal... I mean, if you can't give children equal opportunities... You know, you shouldn't be penalised because your parents are doing better.
Yeah, and you can't help what you're born into.
No.
Yeah, but what I mean is it's kind of it's more grey area now.
Oh, it's very grey.
What is working class and what isn't working class?
Definitely.
And some jobs could be immediately labelled, well, that's a working class job, or if you live in a certain kind of house. But how are they going to decide your socio-economic? Is it just on if your dad's a postman or if your dad's a
Well, they are looking at things like that, aren't they? What your dads do, but I mean, frankly. I mean, if you're a train driver, I think you're classed as working class, but you can be earning £70,000 a year.
Yeah.
Correct.
Which is a huge amount of money.
It doesn't. One shape does not fit all.
It doesn't.
At all.
No. Duncan, can we have a look at smart meters which don't work?
We can. No. I don't have one. Do you have one?
Yes.
No, you have one.
No.
How do you find your smart meter?
Well, I don't really pay any attention to it.
That's what they bank on, though, isn't it?
Well, there's an issue that some smart meters apparently are going dumb. And what that means is the technology's not working, so it's not sending back the data it needs to the energy company.
Oh, well,
Technology not working?
But that must have been what my... Because I've recently had my smart meters all redone.
Right.
Because previously, and for several years, I had smart meters in, but then they were still coming to do meter readings, which I was thinking, why are you doing this?
Curious.
So they can't have been sending any information back.
There appear to be a problem where we have...
Yours might have been a dumb smart meter.
Well, 3.5 million of them. 3.5 million smart meters have gone dumb because they have lost their ability to send usage information. And this new bit of legislation that's been brought in by Ed Miliband is that the energy companies, if you end up with a dumb smart meter, you'll get £40 compensation.
Oh, excellent. Well, I love Ed Miliband.
And all of your smart meters are obviously dumb.
Well done, Ed Miliband.
What, you get £40 as a one-off payment?
Well, if
or £40 a week, or £40 a month,
it's a
or
one-off
£40
payment,
a year?
it's compensation. If your smart meter's been classed as dumb, it's not been sending the information.
Well, I think that's you. I think you should get in touch.
I can't believe you had somebody come and read your meter. I've not known anyone come and read a meter for years. You have to read your own
What's
now.
interesting about this is that there has been, and there remains to be, a massive drive to get people to have smart meters, right? I mean, I don't have one because I deliberately ignore the text messages and the letters.
They're quite good in the sense that...
Did your bills go down?
Well, what you get access to is things like so they email you every week with my supplier and say, do you want to join this? I think they call it Peak Save or something this week. Yeah. And you join it, and then for that period of 12 hours or however long it is, you get cheaper electricity.
Right, so your bills have gone down.
So your bills... Yeah. I've saved £1.10 in the last month.
Wow, that's a win. Well, that's almost a Mars bar.
And went to 12-hour windows overnight?
No, it's like afternoons and things. But because you've got a smart meter, they know exactly when you're using that electricity, so they can work it out. So things like that are good.
But not if they're dumb. Not if they're not sending the information back.
All these things are good if they work.
They work.
The problem with all this technology that's ever come is it's great until it doesn't and then it's worse than what you had before, in my opinion.
Oh, bar humbug. I've saved £1.10p.
Wow.
Good for you.
What are you going to spend it on, Stephen?
Oh, I don't know.
You can get a third of a coffee.
I'm still planning.